Okay, all right, we are live. Guys, Darren will be joining
Hello,
us as
everyone.
soon as he can. Yes, hello, hello. Darren is finishing a timesheet because with the, a holiday on Monday here, that means work needs things now, and so he's finishing that up, and he'll be joining us as soon as he's done. So we are saving cool waters for it. Um, Yes. And actually, he said, so I want to be able to roll in here when I'm done and just wash the work week away. So, you guys are not the only ones that get a chance to kind of uh wash it off and chill out. When we're here. So that's good. So, yeah, and I was noticing the conversation and stuff like that, and um I'm sorry we got started a little bit late. I just had to make sure everything was done. But glad everyone's here. Um, and it's funny when I was a teenager, I thought about shaving my head. Then I actually saw a classmate at Louisiana school at the residential high school I went to. He actually shaved his head, and what convinced me that maybe it wasn't the best thing for me was watching it grow out. And I was like, oh gosh, because it's all the same length when it grows out, and it looks terrible for a while. And I was like, I couldn't do that. So yeah.
You
But
wind up looking like G.I. Jane.
well, if that was my thing, my personal thought is, um, short hair works really well if um you don't have a lot of body fat, and so it can show off your your facial features better. But in my case, the hair kind of helps balance things out a little more. So when I was still like 18 and 115 pounds soaking wet, might have looked good, but not these days. So that's just my own vanity speaking. But uh yes, we're celebrating the Feast of the Beautiful Reunion. Now, here's the funny thing. Yes, it's a feast of love because Hathor travels all the way down from Dendara to Edfu to be with Horus. But while they were there, and this was a multi day festival, and of course, you had party barges basically coming down from Dendera, and they'd stop in Thebes, and people would join the flotilla, and so it was, a party that got bigger and bigger the further south it went. But once they were there were also harvest rites that they would perform, and those included going to a, an ancestral ground, something that symbolized, the graves of the ancestors in the region of Edfu, and there was a driving of cattle that was done to symbolically hide the grave of Osiris and of the primeval beings, the chaos gods from the beginning of time. And so there's an added element to that, in addition to the union of Horus and Hathor, like the king and queen, and of course Horus's kingship would be announced to the four corners of creation. So we can do that part. We can't do any driving of cattle, but we can do the annunciation of Horus. So we'll be doing that as we get started. Um, but oh goodness, I got a kitty being naughty. Um,
They do that best.
yeah. Um, well, I guess I'm gonna have to pray for some reconciliation with my birdies, because I love my cardinals very much, but I'm very unhappy with them because they've been eating my blueberries. And I went out this morning, or well, morning for me. It was more like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but we slept in today. But birdies don't sleep in, and there was like a dozen blueberries on the ground that had been pecked at by the birdies. The netting wasn't doing any good. The plastic owl wasn't doing any good. Diablo, Maleficent's raven, wasn't doing any good. When I had him out there, he kind of stalled him for a little bit. So I just took the whole blueberry bush inside, and I'm like,
Yeah.
we get to figure out if blueberries ripen when they're undercover. It's an experiment. We'll find out. And the Cardinals are probably going to be mad at me, but I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of put off with you right now too. So we will have to reconcile later in the summer. But for right now, I'm kind of mad at him. They're just doing their thing, and I'm just doing mine.
They're always a very pretty color, the nails anyway.
Oh yeah, and they have their particular songs that they sing. That's another thing, and I come by it honestly. My grandmother, loved her birds too, and you get to where you can tell birds by the different calls they make, and the cardinals have this certain. Let's see if I can do it. They have this particular thing that they'll do. But I can also tell when they're having a good time in the blueberry bush, and I've chased them out of there a couple of times. So. And again, we're saving some of this for Darren. These cool
At least he'll
waters.
be looking forward to it.
Oh yes, cool waters are upon my hands, and they purify me. As Tefnut purifies me. Hail unto you, O Yenuchadu. We come unto you without falsehood and without evil. Our purity is upon our hands. Our purity is within our hearts. And we have cast out all evil that pertains to us. We are pure. We are pure. We are pure. We are pure. And we're going to start with our Eye of Horus, and then we're going to light other candles as well. There we are. Come in peace, bright Eye of Horus. Come in peace. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
The Eye of Horus shines like Ra in the twin horizons, and evil hides in fear of it. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
The Eye of Horus destroys the enemies of Ra and hollow their abodes, till none remain. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
The Eye of Horus comes to the four corners of the world, to everyone who is tuning in with us now, who will be joining us in the future, and who has been with us in the past. This Eye of Horus comes, and we are all purified with it. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
We will light a candle for Maches. Well, he'll get to him in the first Machdet. She's had sort of our candle of the year. So I made this one right after New Another eye of Ra. May she protect us as she protects Ra. And Mahas, son of mighty Sekhmet. May he protect all of those who are in the path of storms again this weekend. Hang on. There we go. Well, that's one thing about Memorial Days. They have grill supplies, including grill lighters, on sale all over the place. There we are. Light our candle for Mama Sekhmet. She may bring peace and strength and healing to all those who need it. You arise in the Akhetis Capri, O Ra, spreading your light upon the earth. You set in peace in the mountains of Manu as Atum, bringing your light to Duat. Shine upon earth as you do in heaven and Duat. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who came from Nun at the first time, for such is your uniqueness. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who placed Hu at your left side, for such are the words you commanded. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who placed Sia at your right side, for such is your great wisdom. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, whose Hika goes before you, for such is your ability. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who rules with Ma'at upon your brow, for such is your righteousness. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, and hail and praise unto you, O Hathor, mistress of Dendera, and Horus, lord of Edfu. Hail unto you, O Yunechiru, you lords of love and lords of life. Grant us life, well-being, and health. May our eyes perceive your goodness, and our hearts receive your wisdom. May you shine upon us as you traverse the sky, that we may bring to you Ma'at and cast out Sfet. And may you guard us from the evil one through the dark hours of the night, your protection being before us, and your strength being within us. Take these, your cool waters, which are the inundation, that they may cool your hearts. O Yunechiru, these waters are the eye of Horus, that your hearts may be refreshed. Milk, milk, may you taste it in your shrine. May your hearts be refreshed with it. We bring you this milk from the great flood, O Yunechiru, that you may be purified with it. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit different as we offer the incense, because there's a specific sensing that was done for Hathor during the Feast of the Reunion. So we offer this incense, which is the Eye of Horus. O powerful one on the throne of Edfu, who comes down to earth at the smell of the incense. O Hathor, great one, mistress of Unit, which is Dendera. May you be joyful with this finest myrrh. Actually, this is frankincense. With the pleasing fragrance and perfect body, may you be glad and join with he of dappled plumage. And this incense is the eye of Horus. Its fragrance comes to you, O Yunachiru. So we'll have some myrrh in just a moment. Take this, your bread on which gods live. This bread is the eye of Horus, O Yunachiru. Lift it to your faces and be at peace with it. The gardens prosper and Hapi rejoices, overflowing with his meal. We fill the eye of Horus for you with wine, O Ra, O Hathor, O Horu, O Yunachiru. Drink and be pure. The doors of heaven and the doors of earth are open with libations for you within this house. May your faces be refreshed with your libations, your wine, and your water. And now our myrrh. Pure, pure is Ra Horaketi within his house. Pure, pure is Hathor, mistress of Dendera within her house. Pure, pure is Horus of Behdet within his house. Pure the cause of all of these gods with this good myrrh that is given. Jehuti proclaims it. It is written in his house of sacred words. Hapi gives in abundance, thousands of offerings, all things good and pure. For Ra Horaketi, Horu for Hathor, in every place that their immortal cause dwell. Come to your body, O Ra Horaketi. Come to your body, O Horu, Lord of Edfu, O Hathor, Mistress of Dendera. Come to your bodies, O Yunachiru, and come to your invocation. Come unto us, your servants, who are mindful of your feasts and your offerings. Bring your power, your hika, your honor, and your ba to these, your offerings, and partake of them. Come, O people, raise these offerings before the faces of these gods. Lift the offerings before Ra, before Horus, before Hathor. All life comes from them. All health comes from them. All stability comes from them. All good fortune comes from them, as it has since the first time. O Ra Horaketi, and your son, the Osur Nisu Nevkaparu Ra. Your foes retreat from you. Horus turns himself to his eye. Turn yourselves to these, your offerings, and receive them from our hands. Okay. Let's see. All right, we'll get to that in just a sec. And at this point, it's very appropriate that we go from the table of the gods to the table of the blessed dead, because in the original feast, they would go from the temple at Edfu to the ancestral burial grounds and make offerings for the blessed dead. So we light this candle that it may be the eye of Horus. That, man. There we go. Let this candle be the eye of Horus that lights their way in Duat. We pour these cool waters from the table of Osiris. Their hearts may be refreshed. And let's see, I've got a little bit of incense over here too. Just get the little burner. Just a second. There's certain brands of incense, they will include a little ceramic holder in with it that you have to clean like basically the stub from the last piece of incense out of it before you can use it again. May this incense be the eye of Horus. For a blessed dead. Orekelu, ta henket, ka kau aptus anachrimrat, kutnibet nofre wabet ankhet naturing, and kawan aku kunibu, ma kerenibu kerenachra. A voice offering of bread and beer, 1,000 of beef and fowl, incense, oils, and all good and pure things on which a god lives, for the cause of all of these aku, all true of voice before the great God. And wanted to specifically include, I noticed that Ori said that he had to, his grandmother's funeral was, I think, earlier this week, so we want to include her in that. And I had gotten a request to specifically remember a friend of ours had a spiritual teacher, and that teacher's name was Baba Shiva Das. And this was I think the 4th anniversary of his passing. Yes. So, okay. No, the hippo loaf, that is not a misread. Sarcastic must be talking about making a loaf like for a hippo cake for the Feast of Victory. And double points if you make it red velvet. Of course, another thing that would be offered is at this festival is the sistrum, so we will offer the playing of sistrums for Hathor. Your sistrum for you, O mighty one, great flame, O shining one, sistrum to quench your ire. because that was one of the purposes of the sistrum, and the sound that it makes is to please Hathor and to make sure that she's happy. And of course, when they call her the powerful one, that also renders as Sekhmet. So, there's a parallelism. I don't think they are the same deity, um, contrary to other interpretations, but they act in parallel and they can sort of combine just as other deities are capable of fusing. Sekhmet also gets identified with Wajit. Um, and even Tefnut kind of gets brought into the mix sometimes. So, they're capable of buddying up. But and now we come unto you, O Ra, as Jehuti comes, our hands joined under Ma'at. Ma'at has come to be with you in every place where you are. An offering of Ma'at is made unto you, that your heart may be pleased and your Ka shall live. Truly, your Enid has Ma'at, for they know you live in her. The Enid says unto you, your word is law, eternally. As Fet is cast out by your word, rejoicing is yours every day. And Ma'at has taken her place in your shrine. May we act with gentility and compassion always, such is the first Ma'at. May we always offer charity and hospitality, for such is the second Ma'at. May we always respect consent and fidelity, for such is the third Ma'at. May we always avoid violence and promote wellness, for such is the fourth Ma'at. May we always speak words of truth, for such is the fifth Ma'at. May we always promote the public good, for such is the sixth Ma'at. May we always act humbly and with temperance, for such is the seventh Ma'at. May we always honor our gods and respect others, for such is the eighth Ma'at. May we uphold Ma'at like Jehuti. We may witness Ra's perfection every day. Okay. What we're going to do next is read some things for Horus and for Hathor, and we will announce him to the four corners of creation, and then we'll get to the cookies. But hold on just a minute, because we have to read some things in honor of our patron deities here for this feast. Praise unto you, God of Behdet, Lord of the sky, splendid winged disk who shines in the horizon. You beautiful sun who illuminates the darkness, splendid child who illuminates the earth, iris of the Ujat who lights the two lands with his rays, fair of face, hovering one, armored, majestic, clothed in gold. You arise as Capri when you emerge from Naunet, your rays spreading over the world. Shine upon earth as you do in heaven. Inush harachoru nacharach nebpet, bika sabshuti hekhanateb, api tepi tawi, siach hanumatum, nachari, beacon hibet. Hail unto you, Horus, great god, lord of the sky, great falcon, dappled of plumage, ruler of flying, winged disk upon the two lands, Sia falcon, united with the sun disk, holy god, falcon of gold. O golden one, come to our song, and feast your heart on dancing. Shine upon the festival night, and take joy in seeing the dances. We praise the golden goddess. We worship her majesty. We exalt the Lady of Heaven, and give chanting to our mistress. O come to the procession of revelry, to the place where we wander the marsh. Your rites have been established. Nothing is left for want. We praise the golden goddess. We worship her majesty. We exalt the Lady of Heaven and give chanting to our mistress. How the beauty of your face shines as you appear. O come in peace. We get drunk looking at you, beautiful as gold, O Hathor. May the waters you provide us refresh our mouths and cool our hearts. We praise the golden goddess. We worship her majesty. We exalt the Lady of Heaven and give chanting to our mistress. O golden one, how good is this song, like the song of Horus himself. Likewise, see how we dance for you. Likewise, see how we sing for you. Give, that we may live and prosper. And now we face the east, and we announce, Hail, Duamutep, Lord of the East. Horus is crowned, Lord of Nekhen. And now to the west. Hail, Kebesenuef, Lord of the West. Horus is crowned, Lord of Upper Egypt. We turn to the north. Hail, Hapi, Lord of the North. Horus is crowned, Lord of Pe. And facing to the south. Hail, Imseti, Lord of the South. Horus is crowned, Lord of Lower Egypt. And you have two pairs of opposites there because, of course, Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. But Nekhen and Pe, of course, those are the two hometowns. Nekhen is the hometown of Nekebet, the vulture goddess, and Pe is part of the dual city, Pe and Dep. Collectively, that's Budo, that's Wajit's hometown. And so those two are often named as a way of symbolically suggesting, the two halves of the country, the two goddesses, and especially because we're announcing Horus as king, those symbolize the unification of pairs. So now we have them. They're enthroned, and now we can do our cookies. Oh, and I see some icons already. So, That's really interesting what you're sharing, Sarcastic, about that it takes like a 20-pound bag of resin for a tiny bottle of essential oils. Okay. I see the Discord cookies. And, Solemn Sun, hey, I hope you're all right, because I know there were those storms down in Houston. But, let's see. So we'll start with Sabby. But first we're going to do the one for everybody. And okay, I know Yamana had requested one. So because you said you wanted a cookie, right? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Well, then you're going to be the next up. So
All right.
first, let's start with one. And just a reminder, we had our one from last week. Said be a good sport and you can't fail. And that seems like good advice to kind of hang on to. But let's see what they have for us for this week. Oh, well. And our fortune for the week. Many new friends will be attracted to your friendly and charming ways. Many new friends will be attracted to your friendly and charming ways. Well, that's certainly fitting advice. Coming from during the feast of the reunion, but that's something we can keep in mind. Just be friendly and charming, and we'll make lots of friends. And so we're going to go Yamanu, and then Sabi, and then pick up with the rest of the list. Okay, Yamanu. And give our love to Shannon as well. Oh, Yamanu says, say hello to others. You will have a happier day.
Thank you. And Sharon heard you.
Okay, well, big hugs. All right, so Sabrina gets our next one. All right, Sabrina. The reward for having feelings is great joy. The reward for having feelings is great joy. That sounds like good news. Okay, next up, Katie Horton from whoever wants to speak to me today. Yeah. Yeah, I think Seth's kind of staying to the background this time. This is Horus's show this weekend. Sure. Katie Horton. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Now, that can be intangible things like your time, your energy, your emotions, not just money. Um, and I have to admit that's something that always kind of annoys me is when uh, charities call and they want money, and I'm like, look, I don't have any right now, but is there anything I can do like volunteering or whatever? And the answer is no. I'm like, well, what good are you? You know. But we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Okay. I love that. Why not either? We get drunk looking at you. Best pickup line never used. Yes. Well, remember, for the ancient Egyptians, getting drunk was a positive thing. That was kind of, it was associated with, you know, a good time. So, of course, you also have to keep in mind they didn't have distilled spirits. So, beer and wine was all you had. So it's not like you were going to get, uh, you weren't going to do the 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila floor, thing. But yes, drunkenness is definitely Hathor's bag. Now the vulture goddess Nekebet, um, she is the goddess of uh, Upper Egypt. And the way you remember it is the delta is Lower Egypt, even though it's on top, because it's downstream. So you kind of have to think backwards. But the valley, that's Upper Egypt, and that's Nekebet's domain. And Wajit is the patroness of the delta and Lower Egypt, and she's the cobra. And so when you see the vulture and the cobra, like on King Tut's forehead, like on his mask, those are the twin goddesses of Upper and Lower Egypt. So, let's see. Okay, so J.P. Avery from Horus. I've always wondered if it's been him reaching out to me since I was a child. Oh, and a blessing from Hathor upon my marriage, please. Oh, absolutely. Well, you have asked at the right time. And may your marriage be as happy as Horus and Hathor. And what was it that my grandfather said about love grows in little houses? Um, and let's ask what they have for you. Okay, so J.P. Avery, the work will teach you how to do it. The work will teach you how to do it. So you will learn as you go. Just keep doing and you will figure it out. And that could be a message from Horus. Um, and that might even be him saying, you know the answer, don't be afraid. But the work will teach you how to do it. Same thing goes with relationships too. You kind of learn as you go along. Nobody starts a relationship knowing how to maintain and care for one, because there is effort involved, but you learn as you go. So Ashley Spradley from Offset and Anaku. Okay, Ashley Spradley. A person of words and not of deeds is like a garden full of weeds. So a person of words and not of deeds is like a garden full of weeds. Now, the sense that I'm getting there, so that obviously, you want to ask first, okay, am I, does that apply to me in any way? But also getting a sense that you should apply that to other people too, um, and be mindful of what people are saying and not doing. And if they haven't followed through on something, that's the sense that I'm getting, is if they haven't followed through on something, then um, that should tell you what you need to know and what to do yourself. So, okay, our Discord cookies, Luca, Sarah, and Adamantine. So we'll start with Luca. Okay, for Luca, you must respect others before you can gain their respect. You must respect others before you can gain their respect. So that was for Luca. And the next one was for Sarah. Okay, for Sarah. A good laugh and a good cry both cleanse the mind. So for Sarah, a good laugh and a good cry both cleanse the mind. And for Adamantine. There we go. So Adamantine, are we adamant about something? Yes. Meeting adversity well is the source of your strength. So for Adamantine, meeting adversity well is the source of your strength. And I get the distinct sense that that message is a very big shout out. You can do it. Meeting adversity well is the source of your strength. Okay, and all right, now I'm going to be slowly catching up here because I know that there's more messages coming in. Okay, and Solemn Sons, my area wasn't terribly affected, but some got damage as severe as Harvey in the North Houston area. Yeah, up in probably up close to like the Woodlands and places like that. They talk about those being some of the areas that got really built up over the last 20, 30 years, and they don't drain as well. That's what they were saying, but I'm glad you're all right. And so let's see what they have to say for you. And feeling lost out in the desert. Now I'm thinking if anybody is familiar with that song Snow in the Sahara. I pray for, if you're lost out in the desert, I pray for snow to fall in the Sahara. People show their character in nothing more clearly than what they think is laughable. So people show their character in nothing more clearly than by what they think is laughable. And that can go either way. Are we talking about laughing at good things or, people laughing at things they shouldn't? And if they're laughing at you, then you don't need to be around them. But people show their character in nothing more clearly than by what they think is laughable. So, okay. Oh, and I see we got a super sticker too. Thank you. All right, and okay, one for Sarcastic, then for Thralo, then for Serana. Thank you for the link to the Discord server. And also, guys, just to give you a heads up, there will be a redirect to the premiere for this month's how-to episode at the end of our stream. So that's up. It's already viewable on Patreon. So all our Patreon peeps will have the weekend to watch it, and then it'll go live on Memorial Day. So Sarcastic and then Thralo. Oh my. Sarcastic. Want to learn how to love? Start with the one you hate. Oh my. Want to learn how to love? Start with the one you hate. Um, I hope it's not you. Don't hate yourself. But if you do, then it's your first place you need to start. Want to learn how to love? Start with the one you hate. Okay, Thralo. Oh wow, Thralo, you're in for a treat. These are two fortunes that got they didn't get cut, so they are you got two of them together in one cookie. Might want to go buy a lottery ticket. Now, this first one, if you don't fail now and again, it's a sign that you're playing it safe. Your second one, may the good spirits be with you always. So Thralo, I think they Horus and Hathor both gave you a message. If you don't fail now and again, it's a sign you're playing it safe. And may the good spirits be with you always. So they're telling you we're going to be with you. Don't worry about failing. If you do that now and again, that means you took the effort, you took the risk. He who risks nothing has nothing. So that was for you, Thralo. And Serana. Serana. A leader is powerful to the degree they empower others. A leader is powerful to the degree that they empower others. So that is your best indicator of whether or not they are a good leader. Okay, so now Mary's Wepwet from the Jackals, and then Amanda Barrett. Okay. Huh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No. Sarcastic. What you're saying about the resin, that also works for pine. Because see, yeah, you've got Douglas firs up where you're at. We don't have those, but we have loblolly pines down here, and so yeah, you can get free pine resin, especially in the summertime. Because if a tree's got, if it's been cut or there's, just a spot in it somewhere, it'll weep resin. Another thing to look for is if somebody puts up a cedar fence. Sometimes those cedar logs will have a knot or something that will weep resin. And we had neighbors that had one, and especially in the hot summertime, they're sticky at first, but when they harden, you can break them off, and you've got free cedar resin. But yes, Mary Wet, and then Amanda. So Anafu and give us a message. Married Wepwet. Money is not everything. You can buy a doctor, but not health. Money is not everything. You can buy a doctor, but not health. It might be time to take care of some things. And don't work too hard. Okay, so Amanda Barrett. Wow, this was rather direct. Amanda Barrett, you need to control your emotions. Keep them under wraps. You need to control your emotions. Keep them under wraps. So, Amanda, that one was for you. One-eyed heathen. Will somebody tell me what was up with a certain jerk in the pagan community a couple of years ago? How do I stop stewing about it? Let's see what they have to say. Okay. One eye. Mistakes are the portals of discovery. Mistakes are the portals of discovery. Now, if I may venture an interpretation in this case, because you specifically asked, you're still stewing about something that happened pretty recently. If it's 2022 and 23, that wasn't that long ago, and you're still stewing about it. That's understandable. It was pretty recent, but use it as a learning opportunity and say, well, what did I learn from this? And what do I know to avoid in the future? And when it comes to toxic pagan groups, yeah, I know all about those in varying capacities. And, I have the problem here in my area. I'm like, well, how on earth would I even reach out to other people who are pagan without tipping off the radar of other people that I don't really want to have anything to do with? Would not want them present at a pagan shindig because they're toxic people like that. So that's why I do what I do here, and don't invite the larger community anymore. So yeah, I can sympathize, and mistakes are the portals of discovery. Even if it's just if it were me, I would do this a different way. That's still something constructive to go on. When reflecting on what happened in the past. Because instead of looking just at the past, you're using that as a background to move forward. And hey, you're here, so that's got to count for something, right? Now, Alziel, hopefully I'm saying that right. Please, I need guidance. And then B, then Kalhina Hosta. And we'll kind of go. And I see there was a little bit of discussion about Horus. I'll weigh in on that in just a minute. But Elzeel. And again, if I said that wrong, let me know. But we're thinking owls here. Wow. Alzale, never forget that a half truth is a whole lie. Never forget that a half truth is a whole lie. Now, don't tell half truths because you're telling a whole lie, but also make sure that somebody isn't trying to put something over on you. And I got a sense that they know what that is, and they're kind of pointing to something that they know and that you know. But never forget that a half truth is a whole lie. Then B, and then Kyle Hinojosa. So I'll start with B. That's funny. When I talk to my ducks, I'll call them my funny bees. Because they definitely are that. So B, the two hardest things to handle in life are failure and success. The two hardest things to handle in life are failure and success. Because with success comes its own responsibilities. It requires a certain amount of growth. But just be aware of that. You could have some success coming to you. We hope so. Okay, and so that's right. There's a smiley face, not a fortune. Kyle Hinojosa. Hope you're doing well. Kyle Hinojosa, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. So we make a living by what we get, but a life by what we give. Okay, let's see if we've got anybody else. Jordan, would love a cookie to hear what message the Nurturer have for me. And thank you for the super sticker. Mm. Mm. And thank you, One Eye, as well. Oh, goodness. Let's see. And oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Sometimes I feel like I'm never good enough. I wonder if there's a deity that could help me with that. Well, I tell you what. Let me get, let's see, Jordan has a request for a cookie. And then I will share with you guys a little bit of my experience with Horus. So hold on. Let's see what they have for Jordan. Does anybody else notice that when bad weather's coming, makes joints hurt? Okay, Jordan, if you want to win anything, a race, yourself, your life, you have to go a little wild. So if you want to win anything, a race, yourself, your life, you have to go a little wild. So just don't worry about restraining yourself. Just go out and do it, huh?
What was it you said about bad weather coming?
Oh, well, I noticed that when it seems like when the weather is a certain way, it'll make joints that like to complain every now and then. That's when they choose to do it.
Yes.
Because my knees don't bother me all the time.
Do it a lot, yeah.
Huh?
Arthritis tends to flare up, or like if somebody has sciatica or something like that, it'll flare up.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, I guess I'm getting to an age where maybe I might be starting to get those things. I don't know, but no, somebody was okay. Al, you were asking about deities for self esteem, and there was a little bit of discussion about Horus. So I'm going to check if there's any other cookies. I don't want to miss those. But
Can I get a cookie?
Sure, sure.
I was just about to ask if you were going to.
Okay, hang on. See, my mouse keeps trying to give me the like thing here. Okay. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Poor Ashley. My entire body is a weather vane. Goodness. But all right. Well, let's get that out, and then story time. Oh my! You got two of them. Uh-oh. What do they have to say? Yes, could be really good or really bad. I don't know. Darren would be able to say. I think that was from Ren and Stimpy. I think it was that maybe something good, maybe something bad. We just don't know. Okay, your first one. Most people are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. And the second one, you may have sudden and surprising opportunities. So, most folks are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. You may have sudden and surprising opportunities. So, there you go. Okay, it must have been, let's see, I think this was 2008. This was about 15 years ago by now. But I actually had a dream at one point and encountered Horus. And it was interesting because he was in his falcon form. And I just remember that he had feathers that were so soft. Imagine the softest chenille you've ever touched in your life. And it was softer than that. And it's funny, years later getting ducks, they have certain feathers that are very soft like that. But maybe it was a sign of something to come with that too. But I also remember feeling him, and the feeling that I got was, imagine that you're throwing your arms around a long lost friend and you've got a winning lottery ticket in your hand at the same time. That was the feeling that I got from Horus. And the funny thing about that was like a day before I ended up having to cast out somebody's demon that was tagging along with them because, and then there's a whole long story with that because they were a theistic Satanist, and the only problem that I have with that is when they decide to pick fights with my Christian husband. It's like, okay, now the third party in the room is going to tell you sit down, and I just asked Horus to help me with that, and the room suddenly went so quiet, Darren fell asleep. But and the other folks, because this was a pagan meetup, and the other folks were completely oblivious. Which I found that kind of silly considering, okay, we're all supposed to be pagan. We're supposed to be into this sort of thing and like more spiritually attuned than most people, but they were completely unaware. So make of that what you will. But I enjoy working with Horus, and he, to me, always has this very positive can-do sort of vibe. Because what is he? He's the hero of the story. He's the Luke Skywalker of Egyptian mythology. And so, the warlike and the political, that's one end of it. But you also have to think about how many different aspects he has, because he can appear as a child. He can appear as, the stately king. Um, he can also appear when you see uh, the image of like a priest, with the side lock and the leopard stole, and they're acting as the Ian Mutev. That is pillar of his mother, and that is a ritual role um, that Horus uh, fulfilled. And so when someone is performing funerary rites, they are acting as Horus, because Horus is the loving son. He's the prototypical uh, good son who's taking care of his parents. So those sorts of ideas of the good guy, the here I come to save the day kind of thing. He has shades of that, but also as the little kid that his mother is fretting over him, and having to cure him from scorpion stings and bites and stuff like that. The ancient Egyptians could relate to that too, because everybody who fretted over their child, wanted their child to get well, and to do better, to grow up like Horus. So I think he's very relatable. You just have to find what aspect of him, what facet of him speaks to you. And I joke and I call him my birdie friend. Whenever I see a hawk, if I'm driving around or something, I see a hawk perched, watching the road. I'm like, oh well, there's my birdie friend. He's watching me. So, and it turns out I have a friend that works at a wildlife rescue in Arizona, and she's been sending me pictures. I think it's the Liberty Wildlife Rescue, down in southern Arizona, and they actually have a peregrine falcon that somebody on the staff named Horus. So he has some forms incarnate, uh, you know, right now, in the United States, which I think is pretty cool. That's good advice. Yes, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it. Yeah, yeah. Mhm. I'm gonna go touch falcon feathers now. Well, actually, the thing is, I think uh, birds of prey. Uh, and it's funny. I have a story about that too. There was one that I knew better than to touch it, because they're and again, there's sometimes when I love the birdies, but we can disagree on things. And there were some red-tailed hawks that nested in our area. Um, and unfortunately, 10 years ago, I think it was one of them that took one of our ducks. So I was really unhappy with them, and I had to kind of sit down and talk with Horace about that. Well, a few years later, there was one that got caught up in my bird netting, and the ducks, raised a hue and cry. And so I went out there and I found this thing. He's flat on his back. I assume it's a he. I don't know. It could have been a she, but this poor bird's flat on his back, caught in the netting, with this what the look on its face, and it looked all fluffy and like you want to touch it, but then you see it has that sharp beak and those talons. And I knew if I touch that thing, it will tear me to ribbons. So I got the ducks inside where they were safe, and we were actually about to call some folks that we know that are certified falconers, and they can handle birds of prey. And we were going to say, here, this is probably a passage bird or something. Your license, you can take care of it. Well, right about the time we were dialing their number, that bird had gotten loose and flap, 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 and took off. And I'm like, well, okay. But it was rather interesting to be like this far from, an actual hawk. And again, this thing had this dazed look on its face. But yeah, it looks soft and fluffy, but there's those talons. You don't want to mess with those. So that's why the folks that handle them, like at the rescue, they have thick, thick gloves to do that kind of thing. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. So
Here in Appalachia, we tend to have a bunch of birds, but I noticed going in the back roads, tons and tons of turkey vultures,
hmm.
which are kind of in the middle between a vulture and a hawk,
Hmm.
sort of.
Well, it's funny. I think yeah, we have black vultures around here. There was actually a mated pair of vultures that nested on a bank building, and the employees that worked in the building, because they also had office space that they rented out, and that's Darren's first job was over there. And the folks in the building had named them Sweetie and Tweety. And
Oh,
yes, and it's neat. I'd watch them. They groom each other, and they shed feathers that I picked up and actually made a little uh, fan. I'd have to show you guys later. But yeah, they're pretty big. But yeah, birdie stories. Hmm. Oh goodness. Um. Yeah. Yes. Oh goodness. Listen, don't worry about feeling unworthy. The I think that's um how to put it. We're not worthy. That I think it would be unfair to call that a byproduct of any one particular religious tradition. That would be unfair. But it's don't sell yourself short like that. And it is getting close. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. I guess poor Darren is still working on his timesheet, so we're just going to have to go and you know um, accost
surprise
him.
bomb on the
Huh?
floor.
You said ice bomb?
Yeah, surprise bomb on the
Surprise.
floor.
Oh well, I'm not going to do that to him, but we'll have to help him, you know, cleanse it later. But before we wrap things up, and again, you'll see a redirect to the premiere for our newest how-to episode. I'll be working on the outtakes and the exclusives for Patreon this weekend. But I guess before we go, um, for those folks who might be interested, because one I remember you mentioning working with Enki, and of course I do a little work with Ishtar, and this is something that I put together. Hopefully, it will show it. Yeah, this is a fabric that I got from a website called spoonflower.com. And the fabric is called Ishtar Ox because if I bring it back far enough, you can see this is from the Ishtar Gate that's in the museum in Berlin. But there's a fabric that I think was $20 a yard. And so you can buy it. And I've had other fabric and stuff, so I put a backing and some fringe on it. So this is going to end up going in um, other projects that I'm working on. But uh, I didn't see if they had any Egyptian designs, but my understanding is you can create an account and you can put designs up there. So if you want to make some fabric, I don't know what their particulars for, the resolution for it or whatever, but spoonflower.com, it's something you can always try it. Um, I just thought it was cool to be able to order fabric like that. And it's a good fabric too. You could probably make garb out of it um, if you wanted to look like a walking part of the Ishtar Gate. But figured you guys might think that's neat. So, yeah. Oh, okay, Mrs. Jekyll asked for a cookie later than the rest. Alrighty, good deal. So, we'll go ahead and we'll get a cookie for her, and then we'll wrap up. Wow, this one has been coming up a lot. But yes, here it is from Mrs. Jackal. People show their character in nothing more clearly than by what they think is laughable.
It is coming up a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's like 5 times.
I know, and that came up in the Fortune for Everyone last month. So I don't know. Well, as let's hope that Geb doesn't find anything particularly laughable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So,
want one entity you don't want to take to a comedy club.
yeah, yeah, but mm,
Unless it's off world.
yeah. Oh goodness. But yeah, the thing about knees. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I have my little cheat. I've got a stool, so I don't have to kneel. Some days I can do it just fine, but today is not the day. But hail unto you, Atum. Hail unto you, Capri. You come into being upon the primeval hill. You shine forth upon the shrine of the phoenix in Unu. You breathe out Shu and Tefnut. May the giving of these offerings endure, as the name of Atum, foremost of the great Enid, endures. May they endure as the name of Shu, Lord of Upper Menset in Unu, endures. As the name of Tefnut, Mistress of Lower Menset in Unu, endures. As the name of Geb at the earth's Ba endures. As the name of Nut in the shrine of Shanid in Unu endures. As the name of Osir, Kentiamentiu endures. As the name of Aset and Necheru endures. As the name of Sutek in Nubet endures. As the name of Horus in Pei endures. As the name of Wajit in Dep endures. As the name of Jehuti in Kamenyu endures. As the name of Ra in the Akhet endures likewise for eternity. You have come in peace, O Ra. You have come in peace, O Horus, O Hathor. You have come in peace, O Yunachiru. May you go forth in peace, O Ra, O Horus, O Hathor. May you go forth in peace, O Yunachiru, to every place your immortal cause wish to be. May you sail in joy in the Manjet bark, and rest content in the Sektet bark. And may you smile upon us, your humble servants. Okay, everybody, did we miss anyone? Mm. Ha! Oh, who took Geb to a comedy club? Set tiptoes away, whistling innocently. Okay, yes, and tip your wait staff. Yes. All right. Well, everyone, those of you that are here in the U.S., have a happy Memorial Day. For those of you outside of the U.S., oh wait, hold on, just a second. Say what? Well, I guess if folks have to head to bed, that's cool. But if you can hang in there just a little bit, Derek's going to come join us, so he'll make a last minute appearance. Yeah. So, uh, stack your place. Yes. Yeah. And it's good manners to do those kinds of things. Just kind of pick up a little bit after yourself. But absolutely. Um, but yeah. I guess has a really jovial. Well, of course, Hathor, is a patroness of revelry and that's drunkenness. You know, think of it like the kind of drunk you get at a party when you're having a good time. That's her thing, and also ecstatic states and kind of being in that in between, and that's why she was also honored um, when it came to communing with the blessed dead, and again a jovial feel considering that Horus and Hathor are getting together to spend a romantic evening after they pay their respects and bless the harvest, because you also have to think about this time of year. This is like the tail end of the harvest, and the this is before the water level starts to drop in the river and it gets really hot, and everybody's waiting for the inundation to come again. And what's funny right now is I'm trying to learn a little bit more about the climate in Mesopotamia, because when the river levels were higher and lower was different over there, and so their seasons for planting and irrigation and stuff like that were a little bit different, and that's kind of a challenge. But I'm working on that for another book project. And here comes Darren.
Hi guys.
So
sorry I'm late. I'm just trying to make sure that
you get
we
paid.
can still eat.
Well,
Glad you made it.
yeah. All right. Well, if you hung in there, now we get the cool waters that are upon your hands. The power of Technic compels you. You are pure. You are pure. You are pure. You are pure. Hey!
I am.
Yeah.
I'm helping make sure you.
Well, we just watched the work week off of you. How's that?
Hooray.
There you go.
Hi guys. Sorry I'm late.
It's okay. We were telling birdie stories. But yes, and our fortune for the week said many new friends will be attracted to your friendly and charming ways.
I hope so.
So, and Ashley Spradley gave us a sticker.
Yay, Ashley. Thank you.
Yay. And now that I'm done animating my other project, eventually I'm going to do some more stuff for Kid Ptolemy. So we'll have him do different kinds of happy dances. We've already discussed
some things. Some very cool shit.
Yeah, we're gonna make him get funky.
So believe me when I tell you, the super thanks and all the Patreon stuff help in two ways. One, it lets us know what you want to see, because nothing says it like cash with a note. Two, it really does help us do things like keep the lights on, the internet paid, etc. So please help out with that. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Oh, and Ashley to celebrate their 10th super on a live stream.
Awesome.
We love you, Ashley. Thank you so much. Oh, and B says, Darren, just in time for me to say hi before heading out. Good night, everyone.
Hey, B, love you, man.
Yeah, and no love for the grudge. And Sarcastic says, it just isn't Friday until Darren gets the cool waters.
Love you guys, too. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
From the bottom of my heart, I love you. Thank you.
Yeah, so, but thank you guys, and
we love you guys. I'm so glad to be in here right now.
Yeah, you're done for the week now.
Okay, and I've worked way more than the 16 I'm paid for, but well, I got to make sure the people that I serve are okay. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like with teachers too. They're paid for a 40-hour work week, but they work more than that, just making sure that their students have everything that they need. So
yeah, they work like 80 or 90. I think.
Well, no, they said the average is 52, I think, but
still, that's 22 hours on average.
Or this is 12 hours of unpaid work. Yeah, you're working like That's like working during the weekend, you know.
And it's a 12-month a year job too, even though that ain't advertised. But
Oh yeah, well, we have a friend who was a teacher for high school for a while. She taught agriculture, and the thing is, when they weren't doing stuff for the school year, they had summer programs for the ag, as they called it for short, the ag students. And so there were like summer camps and things. And so she was, transporting students, her own vehicle, paying her own gas to drive them to these big regional things, And so they stayed busy through the whole year.
yeah.
But all right, lots of love, you guys. Thank you so much.
We love you. See you next time. See you next week.
Have a great weekend.
Have time.
All right. Good night, everybody.